Welcome to the second part explaining Rule 2 of the SRA's accounting rules. Rule 2 covers client money in a great amount of detail, and if you haven't seen our video covering Rules 2.1 and 2.2, consider watching it before untangling this second part of Rule 2. So to recap, Rule 2.1 covered the definition of client money, and Rule 2.2 covered holding client money in the office account. So now we're moving on to Rule 2.3. We will now be looking at banking client money. The rule states you ensure that client money is paid promptly into the client account. Effectively, any client money going into the firm is promptly paid into the client account is very important. This doesn't mean being paid directly always into the client account. You could have a situation where the client has paid the money by accident into the office account. The important step is then to ensure the money is promptly paid over. Promptly being the operative word here. In today's banking systems, electronic transfers, paying over money on the same working day is preferable. Where you have cash and checks to bank, this should probably be done within the same day or the next working day. That said, firms should come up with their own definition in their procedure documents. This depending on their own structures and what the firm's situation is and what they consider being promptly. There is a degree of flexibility on these timelines, and every firm's situation should be assessed on its own merits and own restrictions. So this rule does not apply in the following situations. So the rule of paying over money promptly into the client account does not apply in A, in relation to money falling within Rule 2.1c. And this is the rule we've previously discussed. We are holding client money and we're talking about trustees and holders of a specified office or appointment. To do so would conflict with the obligation under the rules or regulations relating to the specified office or appointment. This could be if your client is required to have their own account or money would be held in that account. It could be that money, it could be client money being paid over, but the obligation states that the money should be held in another account. So that in this situation, the rule wouldn't apply. In situation B, the client money represents payments received from the legal aid agency for your cost. Legal aid is outside of the definition of client money. And in situation C, you agree in the individual circumstances an alternative arrangement in writing with the client or the third party for whom the money is held. So let's say the client needs the money not to be held in an account within England or Wales for some reason where the SRA has its jurisdiction. If it has been risk assessed with the client, then that is, for instance, advantageous to hold the money elsewhere, and this is agreed in writing with the client where the money is going to be held, you do not need to pay over money promptly to the client account, obviously. Then Rule 2.4, you ensure that client money is available on demand unless you agree an alternative arrangement in writing with the client or the third party for whom the money is held. Your main client account will generally be an instant access bank account. Pay in and withdraw pretty much instantly, if that is possible, or within a couple of business days, 1 or 2, where the payment cutoffs might have been not met with the bank, and it rolls over to the next day, but pretty much instant access. It might be in certain situations that your law firm has a fixed rate type of account where money gets locked away or soft locked for longer periods, and you might have an arrangement with the bank that if money is held for longer periods at a higher interest rate would be paid. And in certain situations the bank would say it's fine, you can withdraw money instantly, but then you forfeit the interest earned. In these types of situations or arrangements with the bank, that is absolutely fine. The crux is that the money should just be instant access, so available instantly to the client, right? For this reason, investment or stocks and shares ISA accounts are probably not appropriate to use for client accounts. Even though they have bigger yield, there's usually restrictions on access with these types of accounts, so not appropriate for a client account. And then lastly, rule 2.5, you ensure that client money is returned promptly to the client or the third party for whom the money is held as soon as there is no longer any proper reason to hold those funds. Now, this is quite a hot topic, and attention is always paid to this rule. This is usually the rule that gets breached most frequently in reporting. And this is when a matter has finished, the balance left on the client's account should be returned promptly. The Law Society has very good guidance and in detail on this rule, and I'd recommend reading their practice note on residual client balances. And I'll put the link in the description. This is a very, very detailed part of the rules, and the depth of this part of the rule we will cover in a separate video due to the nature of the detail of what it can go into around returning client money when it's no longer appropriate to hold the balance. That concludes rule 2 of the SRA's accounting rules, and in the next session we'll look at actual client account, how the client account is set up and the rules around that, where the client money will be held. Remember, staying informed is key, and thanks for watching.